Good morning, Wednesday, November 12th. We are here finally back on the YouTube with the daily video uploads for the daily breakdowns. The last time you guys probably have seen me was for the MLB season, and now we are up and running functionally with plenty of great data for the NBA. So I want to start doing some of these daily breakdowns for the NBA games for those of you who are interested in betting and researching the NBA. So if you're new here and you've never watched one of these videos before or you've never seen these tools before, these are a suite of model applications that use advanced statistical data modeling to basically create my own lines. Essentially, what we're doing is we're creating the most likely outcomes for games, player props, any sort of event that you could bet on within the NBA. And this is all built into my WAP community. You'll notice at the bottom of the screen, wap.com/RudeBets, 25% off with code RUDE. That's for any package. So come hop in the community, get access to these models, get access to the plays that we all take. I post the plays that I take from the model. We have people who post their plays as well, and we have an awesome community that's very active throughout the night and throughout the days as they post their content and plays as well and just discuss things both within the model and outside of the model. So come join the community. It's growing. We've had over 5,000 users that have used the tools. Not only do we have NBA, but we also have an NFL model. We have college football. We have college basketball that has just released as well. Now college basketball is out, which is really exciting. So for those of you guys who are interested in college basketball, we actually did really, really well here last year, especially with some of the smaller schools. But, you just search, let's say you want to look up Michigan versus Illinois, right? Something like that. It'll give you the projected score with the projected spread. Illinois by 6 would be in this case with a total of 168. Yeah, great way to just find quick little edges on spreads and totals in college basketball, and this is now released. The most in-depth simulators here are NBA and NFL right now, as well as MLB. The college ones are just for games, but this, as you'll see here as we go through the NBA, it's one of the most advanced tools that I've built, and we actually have some really exciting products coming out here in the near future, too, based on these models, so stay tuned and join the community. For today's breakdown, I'm not going to go over every single game here like we did in MLB. If you do want to get access to every game, the best way to do it is come join the community and start playing with the model. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through maybe the first 5 games today, give you guys a really quick read on some of these games, and then also let you guys see the tool so you can come use it yourself. But game 1, Bucks-Hornets. Bucks have not really... They've been in a lot of close games, if we're being honest. Pretty much every single Bucks game is close. That makes sense why we have the Bucks winning here by about 4. I'll be honest, for me, the NBA is really hard to beat on spreads in general because the games are so volatile from game to game. Where I think the value lies within the NBA is player props. So that's pretty much what we're going to focus on for the majority of these breakdowns is the player props. So, all right, as we look through this here, I do have an odds screener pulled up so I can see what some of these lines are. But you get pretty familiar NBA lines. It's kind of nice. Unless there's like a major injury, most of the guys' lines are around the same area. So when I pull up this sim throughout the season, I'll be able to like quickly look at a certain player and know if that's over or under what I expect their line to be. And then I can quickly just go pull it up to verify. But you can get a good read on these guys pretty quickly as the season goes on. So as we look through here, one of the guys I think that stands out pretty nicely right now here is AJ Green, 9.5 points. AJ is a huge three-point shooter. Realistically, I mean, his expected three-point attempts, we have him shooting about 6 today. He makes 3 of those, which he's done many times this year. He gets to 9 points right there. And then it's likely that he might get a free throw or something to get him over to 10. So AJ Green over 9.5 points isn't a bad read. For a guy like that, though, you might want to just focus more so on three-pointers, something like that. Ryan Rollins, 15 points. Ryan Rollins' line currently is sitting at 14.5. So another one where there's a little bit of value actually in the over on that play. Let's look at Ryan Rollins real quick, and we can see some of the data here. So when you click on a player in this sim, what's so cool about it is we do give a matchup factor, right? So you can see the matchup factor here. And let me just actually give you my actual definition in the top matchups section here. Matchups allow you to sort by matchup factor. Matchup factor is a measurement to quantify the defensive matchup based on the player's position. So Ryan Rollins, point guard. How is the defensive matchup against point guards for the various stat categories? So the higher the number, the better the matchup for the player. So if it's a high number, it's good for Ryan Rollins. So, for example, if the matchup factor was 1.22, that's considered a high number. 1.0 is average, by the way. 1.0 is the league average. 1.22 means that the defense allows 1.22 times the amount of that stat, or 22% more of that stat. So, for example, let's say Ryan Rollins His assist matchup factor is 1.22. That means that team allows 22% more assists to point guards than league average, meaning it's a favorable matchup for him for assists. On the other side, a bad matchup would be anything less than 1, so they'd be better than league average. Like 0.85 means they allow 15% less of that stat. That's a quick way to just understand what a matchup factor is. But going back to Ryan Rollins here, you can see right here, assist matchup actually pretty tough. They allow 11% less assists than rebounds. 11% less rebounds than league average. Assists also not that great, 7% less. Points, 3% less. So points are, they're about league average for points allowed. So overall, Charlotte's defense is pretty good. They do allow 3-pointers to point guards at a 19% higher rate. So maybe Ryan Rollins for threes. Let me look at his 3-point market real quick. Ryan Rollins threes, 1.5. Yeah, so Ryan Rollins over 1.5 threes. Looks like it should be, in theory, a pretty good play. If we look at his last 5 here, he's hit 3, 1, 2, and 2. So we are also pulling in some data points from their last 5 games played. And last 10. 3, 1, 2, 2, 0, 0, 5, 4, 1, 1, right? So we are pulling in those graphs, as well as the last 5 versus the opponent, if there are 5 data points, which in this case there are not for Ryan Rollins. So going down, we also then have the buckets for rebounds plus assists, points plus rebounds, and then first basket data, right? So you can see how many first baskets they've hit. One, first basket probability based on various factors here, like how often the team he's playing allows a first basket, how often they allow it to that position. Right here, 13%. The league average allowed to the position, 15%. So they're right on range there. And his hit rate, so he's got a 10% hit rate on this. Fair odds as well. And then also the method data. So his first basket, the only one he scored this year was a layup. So for guys who have multiple, and as the season goes on, you'll be able to see like what percent method their first basket is if you want to get really crazy and do like, I don't know, Ryan Rollins layup first basket for plus 2,500, whatever, you know what I mean? So pretty cool, interesting thing there. And then this graph right here just shows the minutes played. So you can see like, is he getting a lot of minutes here? You can see right here we have him expected. This blue line is his projected minutes, which is 30.96. His last 5, he played 30, 28, 28, 32, 36, so it's right in line. And then at the top, some really, really crucial information, expected field goal attempts, right? So 12 shots is what we're expecting him to take. With free throws, about 14, so 12 shots, 2 free throws. You can see his percent that he shoots that are threes, so 43% of his shots are threes. Percent that he shoots threes is 34%. The percent that he's making them at is 43%. So he shoots 34% of the time from 3, 43% he makes. His last 10 minutes played, his last 5 minutes played, his minutes per game on the season, points per game on the season, and his assists per game on the season. So a lot of really good data points for you to look at here on the player page. It's extremely detailed. And then his rank versus position, 13th overall. We'll show you another place where you can find matchup ranks for everybody, but this is overall their rank versus point guards is 13th overall. So they're a pretty stingy defense against point guards. So that's just a quick breakdown of like the actual player prop model and how you can really dive in deep on any single player. This dashboard here, when you click on a game, is going to give you just a high-level overview for all the different projections. So rebounds, assists, points, PRA, 3-pointers, RA, PA, PR, and then the first basket probability. So a quick way for you to just click on a game, have your book open to see what lines are, and then just try to identify value. And then if you really want to dive in deeper, like I like to do, say I really, I immediately saw Ryan Rollins' line was 1.5 3-pointers. I see him projected for 2.66. I want to just verify that it's a good matchup, so I go down to the 3-pointer bucket. I see it's a green matchup. That's a play I like to take. It's that easy. It is that easy. So, that's really how this is going to work and how it's been working. This is the 3rd NBA season now. I believe this is the 3rd NBA season, that we've been live. So, this product has been around for a while. It's been successful for 2 full seasons, and this is the 3rd one now. We've been continuing to add things to it, features, bells and whistles, and improve the algorithms. Once again, wap.com/RudeBets. Come join. Also, you'll notice at the bottom, you can get a free $40 to Kalshi right now if you sign up with code RUDE. Download Kalshi, sign up, use code RUDE when you are signing up, and you'll get free $40 to use on prediction markets. Kalshi is an awesome place if you're looking to get into prediction markets. So, or if you're in a state where you can't use like FanDuel, DraftKings, things like that. So, highly recommend Kalshi. Code RUDE. Going back to points here, I want to look at Kyle Kuzma. No, he doesn't have a line out right now. Never mind. The Miles Turner, 13.5 for Miles Turner. Yeah, we met 14. It's not really a huge advantage in my opinion. Let's look at the other side here. Con Knippel's, yeah, I kind of like Con here, honestly, for being real. Defensive matchup here, 26th ranked versus position. So Con Knippel, I mean, his line is currently sitting at 17.5 points. 20, 24, 19 in his last 3. I like Con Knippel here. I really do. I really do. So they allow 12% more. Okay, what about threes? Okay, so the Bucks are good at defending the 3, actually, against this position specifically. But his points line, they do allow a lot of points. Last 10, he's averaging 16.7, so that is below his 17.5 line. His last 5, he's averaging 19.6. Today, we have him projected based on this matchup to go for 20. So Con Knippel for 17.5 points, or even for 20-plus points if you're going for a longer shot play, is something I do like here. Not really interested in him for first basket. He doesn't have any on the year. Points looks good. Assists could be interesting for him. He's averaging 4.2 over his last 5. His line is 3.5. I'd stay away from that. And then rebounds. This could be a good one. Rebounds for Con. 5.5. Yeah, I really like him over 5.5 rebounds as well. You can see 12, 6, 10, 8, 8. He's been crushing rebounds. So, and the Bucks allow 15% more rebounds this position than league average. So, yeah, I do like it. His average defensive rebounds 5.7. He's not really getting offensive rebounds, only about almost 1 per game. So he's averaging about that line, 5.5 per game. But with this matchup, I do like him to go for about 8 rebounds today, possibly. So Con Knippel over 5.5 rebounds or his points both look good, which means then by default, his points plus rebounds. If you like both, you might like the points plus rebounds. We have him going for 28.36 points plus rebounds. His line is 23.5. This might be the best line to take. This right here might be the best line to take because he could overachieve on rebounds, underachieve on points, and still get you there, or vice versa. So this is another really good one. And what's also cool about this is you can put in these lines, right? So like if we have him at 24, the model right now has him with an 80% chance to go over. 80. We think the line should be much higher than 24, especially with him going for 28. So you can also put in your line in these boxes and get a probability for them clearing that line. Obviously, as more data comes in through the season, you'll see these become a little bit tighter to the book line. But this is also where I think we have a really good advantage because we're modeling this out based on the data for the year. And the books right now, since it's so early in the year, they're modeling it off based mainly on averages. The price discovery isn't really found in these markets like points plus rebounds. So there are some pretty good edges you can find in those types of markets, especially for a line like this, 24 points plus rebounds, Con Knippel. That's another really good play on top of that Ryan Rollins threes. And if we just go back into points again, start here. I always like to start with points. Just look at that first and then go from there. If we look in here, Miles Bridges, 23.5 is pretty much right where we have him. Trey Mann, 12.5. That could be a decent one. We have Colin Sexton, 16.5. Not loving that. Maybe an underplay there. Kalkbrenner, 8.5. It's pretty much right where we have him. Yeah. So another thing I really like to do is when there are key injuries in these games, like LaMelo Ball, you can identify some expected usage volume increases for certain players. So like Con, might get more shots tonight because LaMelo's out. So yeah, let's hop into another game here. Let's look at the Bulls-Pistons. Bulls-Pistons here. Josh Giddey here, 21.5. Yeah, that's pretty much right where we have him. Vucevic, 18.5. So that might be a decent under. Does he have a tough matchup today against the Pistons? Yeah, tough matchup, 10th overall. Although he has dominated in this matchup historically. If you look at these numbers, 28, 21, 8, 20, and then 29. But then his last 5 games, 9, 19, 17, 11, 20. He's all over the place. Vooch is all over the place, unfortunately. I find these reads to be a little bit difficult, just given how volatile his numbers are. Low, high, high, low, high, low, high, medium, high. He's all over the place. So it just shows me there's not really consistency in his volume. He has been hitting threes, though, outside of this last game. 1, 3, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess he only has one of these, but he has a few games where he's got a lot of threes. And he does have a decent matchup here, 8% more. So if you can get a Vooch threes line, 1.5, his attempts are just not really high enough for me. I'd like to see this number higher than him having to hit 50% to clear a line. That's another thing to think about is when you look at this, looking at those attempts, and that goes for points too. So like, how many shots do we have him taking? 11, so 12 shots. Do you think he's going to score 15 points on 12 shots? That'd be a really impressive day. So maybe his points under is pretty good, assuming that his shots number is as low as it is, right? Assuming he only shoots 12 shots. Cade Cunningham, 31 points. I personally don't love to take these players with these really high lines. That's why I didn't go over Giannis. Yeah, his line's 29.5. I mean, you just need a lot of things to go right for a guy to clear a 30-point line. So I generally stay away from those personally. I know a lot of people like to take him because, especially like the casual bettor, they really like the big name players that they know. But the value on points really comes in with kind of some of the lesser known guys with these lower lines that you can find with good volume. So just keep that in mind. I'd stay away from guys like Cade with 30-point lines and 10 assist lines, and they're just really high and hard to hit consistently. Duncan Robinson, 14-0 there. Jalen Duren. This is a guy I've loved this year. His line's 20.5 points. I mean, for some reason it didn't populate there. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to look into Duren why he won't pull up. But still, you can see his projections right here. 27 points is really good for Duren. Also, not a bad first basket probability, 18.5%, which is the highest in this game. So Duren points could be a good line at the 20 mark. But once again, that's in my opinion, that's a pretty high line, especially with a guy like Cade who shoots as many shots as he does. Assist-wise, nobody really jumps off the page here outside of Cade, and I don't like that line being so high. Same here. I mean, like Giddey, his line's going to be pretty high for assists. I like to personally try to hone in on guys at like over 3.5 assists, like maybe like Trey Jones. See if his line's there. Giddey's line is 7.5, so yeah, there's not really much value in that. Trey Jones, that's a high line. 6.5 is crazy. Probably would go under on that. And then similarly for rebounds, I just don't love looking at guys with like 9.5 rebound lines. It's a very high line, especially if the game gets into blowout territory, which happens often in the NBA. I don't think this one will be. We have it being a pretty close game, but for example, last night Isaiah Hartenstein was in a great rebound matchup. He only played 20 minutes. He got 7 rebounds, but he only played 20 minutes because it was a blowout. If he plays his normal 28, 29 minutes, he probably gets 13, 14 rebounds. So that's the hard part about NBA with those high lines is when these games get into blowout territory and players start to sit, you really lose an opportunity at the minutes, which everything in the NBA revolves around minutes. So, yeah. Giddey rebounds actually looks pretty decent today. 8.5. It's a decently high line, but I could see Giddey going for a pretty high rebound line today with Vooch. Him and Vucevic both getting 10. But 8.5 is a pretty high line. But I lean towards Giddey having some good value on 8.5 rebounds. Magic Knicks, we'll skip this one, and then we'll round out here with Cavs Heat. This will be the last game we're going to do. And once again, we have 13 games going today, or is it 12? We have 12 games going today, so I highly, highly recommend y'all jump in the community, wap.com/RudeBets, and get in here so you can come through some more games. But Cavs Heat, we have this one projected to be a close game. That's one thing I really try to target with player props is, like I was just saying, blowouts are so prevalent in the NBA that I try to look for games that have a pretty close projected spread. Like Wizards Rockets, probably a game you don't want to touch. Blazers Pelicans, possibly a game you don't want to touch. You know what I mean? Nuggets Clippers, potentially a game you don't want to touch if it's going to be a blowout and these guys won't play. Whereas this game projected to be really close. Hopefully these guys get full minutes. It's what it's looking like. So here, let me scroll down to this game. Cavs Heat. Okay. So anybody that jumps off the page, Sam Merrill really jumps off the page. His line's 14.5. So it does look like there's some injuries. No Donovan Mitchell, so maybe this game won't be as close. No Evan Mobley and no Darius Garland. So this is one of those games where, like I was just talking about earlier, when there's injuries, you can find some insane value. DeAndre Hunter, his line's 22.5. I think that's too high. He's probably going to be the number one volume guy today for sure. Same with Jarrett Allen. But Sam Merrill's line is currently sitting at 14.5 points. His matchup is actually pretty decent. His shot volume is what goes crazy here. You can see we're giving him 5 more shots than he normally has. 5 more shots than normal based on all those injuries. So a lot more volume going his way, and I don't think the lines are adjusting for that. So, yeah, Merrill's in a really good spot here. His last 5 games, don't really need to worry about this because he's had Donovan Mitchell playing, Evan Mobley, you know what I mean? So this is one where you really want to just focus on. Let's see what his 3-point line is, too. This could be another good one. But Sam Merrill, I think, has some significant value as a guy who's going to get increased volume from injuries. And that's one thing you really want to look for in the NBA and player props is where you can exploit increased volume. So his threes line is 3.5. This is, I think, a little bit high, 7.35. But once again, it's because we have a limited data point in terms of the games played so far this year. He's only played 4 games. So, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games now. 2, 4, 4, 3, 4. So he's hit that 4 number pretty consistently. And I like it. 3.5 threes, it's a high line. But I mean, like I said, his shot volume is going to go up like crazy today. He shoots at a really good clip. He's going to shoot a lot more threes. 77% of his shots are threes. Almost every shot he takes is going to be a 3. And he's making almost 50% of them. So for him to clear 3.5 threes today, I think it's a good line for a 4-3 line. Like, it's high, but it's one that I think has significant value in this game, as well as his points. So Sam Merrill is someone that I think is going to significantly benefit from all the injuries in this game. On the other side, for the Heat, they're not really missing too many people here. This is a tough one. No Bam Adebayo, but Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Jaime Jaquez. You have a lot of guys who eat volume, so I don't think there's like a significant edge for points in this game for the Heat. Assists, Davion Mitchell. Now that could be a good play. Let's look at this real quick, see what the line is. Davion Mitchell, his line is 7.5, so they have adjusted for that. Okay. It's a pretty high line. He's been good with assists, but that's too high for my liking. Yeah, I can't say I love that. Jaime Jaquez, his line at 4.5 though. Jaquez assists could be a good play. Jaime Jaquez Jr. could be a good play for assists. Last 5 game average 6, last 10 5.6. You can see here 7 assists, 5, 2, 5, 4, 7. He's kind of all over the place, but he's clearing that line at a decent rate. So over 4.5 assists for Jaime Jaquez Jr. I think could be a decent play, especially with a projected minute number of. Let's go down and see what we have for minutes. 29.74. Yeah, so we haven't played him 30 minutes, which he's averaging on the year about 30 minutes. So that's pretty good. Oh, right here, expected minutes played at the top, 29.74. So I think Jaquez for assists is a pretty decent. You could also look at him for rebounds, too. With Bam Adebayo out, that could be a good opportunity for rebounds. He does have to compete with Kel'el Ware. Let me just look at those line real quick. Cavs Heat. Jaime Jaquez Jr., 7.5 rebounds. It is plus money. I don't mind it at the plus money number, but it's a high line. Kel'el Ware, though. Kel'el Ware, 10.5. I mean, I just said I don't like those 10.5 lines, but Kel'el Ware should probably clear that as it's going to be between him and Jaquez for most of those rebounds tonight. They're going to clean up the boards a majority of the time. And with high 3-point volume shooters like Merrill on the court, those misses, you're going to need guys like Ware and Jaquez to get those rebounds. So I would lead Jaquez at 7.5 rebounds is a good play too tonight. So, and then just quickly, I want to show you guys some dashboards. So we do have some other dashboards in this tool, right? So you can take this, you can expand the list out. You can sort it by who's the highest rebound guy on the night, who's the highest point scorer on the night, who's got the best first basket probability, who's got the most 3-pointers made tonight, who's got the most RA, the most PA, right? So you can look at top down across every single game and quickly see, and then you can click on their name and go into their profile if you want. But you can quickly sort the table by any game you want, or all games. And then same thing for matchups, right? So like I was talking about earlier, we're trying to find the best matchups. Who's got the best rebound matchup tonight? Lonzo Ball, right? Like he's not a big rebound guy, but Jabari Smith Jr., right? You can see quickly their matchup factors, 37% more, 32% more, and then also what that rank is in the NBA for that position. So assists, same thing. Jaylen Brown's got the highest matchup for assists tonight against the Grizzlies. Points, the best matchup for points, Reed Shepherd against the Wizards. 3-pointers, the best matchup for threes, Miles Turner against the Hornets. They allow 89% more threes to centers than league average. Their center is not good at he's not good at defending the three. So you can quickly see those matchup points and be like, oh, Miles Turner three, he's got a good matchup. Let's quickly go look at the projection. Boom, 3 threes. Miles Turner threes. Actually, let me just go look at that line. Miles Turner threes over 1.5. Yeah, great line. It's a great play. It is minus 164, but still, I mean, if we have him at 2 threes here, fair value for that. We have him with an 89% chance to clear it. So it's a very quick way to just see the top matchups and then decide how you want to go from there. And then lastly, if you are a big degenerate and you like lottos like I do, on top of some of the other plays you're taking, you want to take like a couple dollar lottery ticket slip. I have a first basket zone. While I did show you, you can just sort by first basket probability. What you can also do is you can go into the first basket zone and see a full dashboard of all the first basket data on the year. So we have 4 tables and then a player table at the bottom. The 4 team tables are the first basket allowed by the position. So what position do teams allow it to and how many are they allowed? So sometimes I like to see, who's allowed the most first baskets this year. Charlotte and Memphis and Sacramento all have allowed 8 first baskets this year. Then you can quickly see like, okay, Charlotte's allowing 38% to the center. You can see if there's any outliers like this. Chicago, 71% of the first baskets they've allowed out of the 7 that they've allowed, 71% to the center. So you can quickly sort, okay, so 71% to the center, 67%. You can see like who allows the most first baskets to what positions. You can also look at methods. So who allows 3-pointers the most, or who allows free throws the most, or other, or dunk. You can quickly see those data points. And then the last 2 tables are just the opposite. So it's scored instead of allowed. So who scored the most first baskets? Cleveland. They've scored 10 first baskets. 40% of the small forwards, so DeAndre Hunter. 30% by Mobley. 10%, 10%, 10%. Right. So you can see what position scores a lot for each team, or how teams are scoring those first baskets. So you can see Cleveland, out of those 10 that they've scored, 50% are just a general 2-pointer, like a jump shot, essentially. Other is anything that's not a 3-pointer, layup, free throw, or dunk. So like a fadeaway, a jumper, a floater, hook shot, things like that. So you can quickly see how teams are scoring if you wanted to get really crazy with the method. So, and then the bottom one's all the players that have scored first this year. So you can sort by who scored the most first baskets, and you can see how they've scored. So Karl-Anthony Towns, he has 4 first baskets this year. 50% of those 4 are 3-pointers. 25% is a free throw, and 25% is an other. He's got no layups, no dunk first baskets. You can quickly see, like, say you want to look up, I want to look up how Giannis scores first so I can make a method out of it. Layup is his, he only has 1. But as the season goes on, when we're like, in January, you're going to have guys who have 12, 13, 14 first baskets, and you'll see, a majority of them are a 3 or a layup. So then if you really want to get crazy, you can get crazy with those data points for those method types of plays. So, once again, like today, if you're going to be targeting first baskets, you want to go against Chicago, and you want to just target against this, take, who's Chicago playing again? Cleveland? Let's see. Detroit. So you would take like Jalen Duren. We talked about that. You could take Jalen Duren for a first basket because, like we said, 71% of those first baskets allowed by Chicago are to the center. Now you know that there's an 18% chance that Jalen Duren scores first. So, a lot of stuff in this NBA tool, way too much to go over in a single stream. I hope this video helped you all out. Come join wap.com/RudeBets. Get 25% off using code RUDE. Get access to this NBA tool. It is an absolute banger. There's so much you can use it for researching your plays to make better picks and win more often. And then join the community and you can get access to all of my picks, all of our chats, all of our strategies that we use. And I'd love to have you in the community. So, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll be back tomorrow with another breakdown for some more games and go into some more depth in the player props. Peace out.